Hi, welcome to Ascending Soul's Journey. I am Lorianne, your intuitive guidance counselor, psychic medium, and we are talking through Spiritual Connections Live. This is a wonderful program that I started last year, and I haven't been doing it on a regular basis, but it's coming back very soon, okay? Where we talk about different aspects of healing. Some of it can be spiritual, some of it can be major life transformations, but we really look at different areas. And I do this to help you all so that you have knowledge. I'm a big believer, knowledge is power. And I believe in empowerment, obviously, with my little buffalo cap back there, which I will be doing that. This week, you know, a lot of my clients, and hello to everybody out there. Thank you so much for joining me. Those of you who subscribe, I truly appreciate it. Hi, how are you? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. So the topic this week is because a lot of my clients, I work with people to help them break through blockages. I can see on their chart where the blockage is. So I'm able to actually go in there intuitively, and through counseling, we can get it out, heal it, and absolutely remove it. Takes a little time. And if my clients do the work, it works, right? There's a number of clients that I've had where they don't know, they don't recognize that the environment they were raised in was toxic. They do not understand that that's not a healthy environment. So I wanted to do this segment to see, for those of you who are wondering, why is it every time I go to, why don't I have the love of my life? This is a big one. Because it can block us from love. This is relationships, right? We grow up with our family. We grow up in this relationship. And we're blocked from getting the true love of our life, having that happy, healthy relationship. Now, one of the things that happens when we come from a toxic environment, and those of you who follow me, you know that I did come from that background. We think that's normal, okay? We think the dysfunctionality, the gaslighting, the things that take place are normal. So we don't recognize necessarily that they're teaching us as a child in our subconscious mind. They're teaching us things that are going to really affect us in a negative way as we get older. And a lot of you are in that phase of your life right now. So I wanted to cover a few bases with you because this is huge for your spiritual ascension. This is huge for major life transformations. Understanding our roots, okay? Our roots. Hello, Ireland. I can't wait to come out and see you, hopefully next year. Our roots are connected to our subconscious. Our subconscious mind is connected to our soul. You see, we pick our parents, and some of you may have heard that, okay? We literally pick our parents, who we're going to be with, who we want to raise us. And it's based on, it can be old karmic situations with that person. My mother and I, we may have been in 6 lifetimes together where I was the father, she was the child, etc. Everything is different, but that same toxic situation is each lifetime because it wasn't resolved. So sometimes when we pick our parents, it is to heal and get it done and over with. When we are born into a toxic family, we are immediately off our path, okay? We all have a path. If we're on that path, everything's gonna go well. If it doesn't go well, we completely understand how to move through it, how to fix it. That's healthy. I think there was an angel right there. When we come from a toxic environment, we don't know. We don't understand. We don't understand because we can have that invisible karmic cloak that I'm talking about in some of my videos, where we can see outlines, but we can't see the detail, right? Some of the signs are really quite unusual. A Type A personality. Now, when I was younger, I had a type A personality. I was proud of that. I was a go-getter. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to get it. I'm going to do it. And I did. But I would get, somehow, I didn't get the payout. I didn't get the promotion. I didn't get the guy. I didn't get this. I didn't get that. So I would put everything I had into that. That's what type A personalities do. They are the drivers. They're the force that makes things happen. And that has oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes it can come from the roots that I'm talking about, the environment that we grew up in, right? So some of the signs are being a people pleaser, which falls underneath that type A personality. Controlling. We can be controlled by the people that we are raised with. And we can be abused and say, I'm not going to do that. Sometimes we actually have to understand what kind of abuse we're going through as well. So we're going to look at different signs of what they are, because this is very important. Now, I will recommend a couple movies that are really going to help some of you to touch base. It's going to trigger you after you watch this video. I'm seeing 5 zeros. So there's at least 50 of you going to watch this video and watch one or both of these movies, and it's going to trigger some emotional stuff inside of you, okay? And it's meant to do that. If you're brought to this video, you were probably meant to be one of those people. It could be 500, it could be 5,000. I don't know. It's 5, okay? When we grow up in a toxic environment, we think it's very healthy because of the way that it's done, because of the patterns that are being thrown at us. We have a lack of empathy. So we can grow up around people that if we get a boo-boo, and some of you may have, bear with me, some of this is not toxic, but when you look at the whole picture, that's how you understand. So a little kid falls down, they scrape their knee. They go to their mom and their mom goes, yeah, wipe it off and go back outside. That's okay, as long as, you know, they checked it, there's nothing wrong with it. But when we come from a toxic environment, it could be a little bit different. They have no empathy, they have no compassion. When we're talking the family dynamic, we can have the narcissistic family, and those of you who recall under the playlist, you're going to see Spiritual Connections Live. I talk about narcissism, okay? And narcissistic abuse is one of the main topics in our world right now because it is over dominating our population. Hence, Age of Aquarius is here this year. It began to fix and reverse. That's why so many of us are going through spiritual awakenings, massive, major life transformations. That lack of empathy teaches us that we're not valued. We're not worth. When we see a parent, like, let me give you an example. My mom had a friend that lived up the street. Boy, when this woman came over, I'm going to call her Tammy. When Tammy came over, my mom would, oh my God, oh, go away, I'm talking to her. Oh, go away, I'm talking to her, go away. So when I literally had a boo-boo that was needing attention, I was told to go away. So pay attention to all of this. And you may need to watch this again. So there's a lack of empathy, a lack of compassion. It can be getting dumped by a boyfriend, and one of the people that you're with, it could be your brother, it could be your sister or your mom, dad, doesn't matter. Uncle says, yeah, no big deal. They have no compassion when we are hurting. When we have these feelings of emotions that we need to express, we do not feel that it's safe to go to them, number one. Number two, if we do go to them, they aren't going to do anything. It doesn't matter. They don't care. So we have that feeling of, it doesn't matter. My issues are not as important as everyone else's in the world. And that teaches us as we go into adulthood to actually go through life having our own issues, and listening to other people, because we become empathic. Okay, some of us are actual empaths, some of us is taught by the toxic family. But as we go forward in life, all of these things start playing out where it starts creating us to recognize something called cognitive dissonance. That's where we literally have split mind, where we shut down or we split our emotions. Aquarians are very much accused of having this happen where we have no emotions. I'm an Aquarius. I have lots of emotions. You guys heard me cry. That's like, I have them. I feel for you. But we hide them really well. And when we're in a toxic environment, we do separate our emotions from our logic. We have to take our feelings out because the people who abuse us always come first. We are taught to be a people pleaser because of that. So we give to that parent. We can have a broken leg and mommy wants something, and we go and we hobble over and we get mommy something. Now that's teaching us at the age 4, 5, 14, 16, doesn't matter, in childhood, to cater to other people. People pleaser. We give people what they want and then they validate us. Well, growing up in a toxic environment, we don't necessarily get validated. So we continue the repetitive cycle over and over and over, trying to get the validation, trying to be told, you did a good job, you're amazing, you're beautiful, you're intelligent, I love you, I validate you. We don't get that from a toxic environment. So it creates the split mind. Now that split mind makes us inside feel as though we cannot trust our own decision. So we can find ourselves going to other people, asking them, well, what do you think about that? What would you do in this situation? And that's not an unhealthy thing to do. It's actually quite healthy if you end it correctly. What a person who's been damaged does is they ask another person, they may go to their brother and say, what would you do? And brother says, you need to do this. And you do it. You don't stop. You don't think, does it feel right in me? My brother's asking me to do something. I don't know. It doesn't feel weird. It feels kind of weird, but I'm going to do what my brother said, or my best friend, or my mom, whoever, my boss. It doesn't matter. The decision is made on somebody else's opinion about your life. A lot of you who have been triggered by a soulmate, where we're talking about the family members, families and friends influencing the runner, the one who's not emotionally available. That's what I'm talking about. You see, they equally have been through a lot of similarities as you have, and they have to heal and resolve. They have to be aware. And because they're not spiritually aware, they don't get it like you do. But that's exactly what we're talking about, how they have to ask their mom. Somebody posted the other day that something along the line that, yeah, they had to ask their mom and their mom doesn't like me, right? That person you're dealing with is actually I guarantee, from a form of toxicity. What extent? I don't know. It's going to be different for each and every one of us. Oftentimes we grow up in a toxic family. Sometimes we can have parents that drink, they do drugs. They can have other kinds of addictions that even take them out the house. I've been married a few times because it affects our relationships. We pick the wrong people to be in relationships with. That's huge, huge. One of mine, my youngest son's dad, would go to the bar and leave the kids home. He would leave babies home alone to go to the bar. We draw in a lot of negative people. Okay, that happened once, by the way. And that was it. One time. It wasn't my baby, it was his baby. But it was like, my kids were there. It was like, no. Mine were like 5 and 6. There's no way in hell, no. So I was getting ready to call CPS and he showed up. When we grow up in a toxic environment, just like him, he was left home alone. So he didn't know, well, society says it's not appropriate But when we're raised that way, it creates them separate. Mind, we hear the world, we hear the laws, we hear the rules. We grew up this way. And in this way, we may have been taught not discipline, but punishment. Discipline is a form of making sure that we are teaching our children. So, like Captain Lovebug down there, when he potties and he potties on the floor, we take him to where he's supposed to go and we tell him, no, you don't go here, you go here. He doesn't get beaten. He doesn't get abused. He gets taught. But it feels like punishment, absolutely, and you are being told. But there is a difference in the way we grow up. Emotional nurturing is not there. Nurturing, self-love, putting ourselves ahead of other people. You see, we can't make that decision because we don't trust ourselves. And we don't trust ourselves because we don't know what self-love is. We may have heard of it, there may be a little bitty piece of it in us, but we are taught to gear towards everybody. All of the type A people, not all, majority of the type A people that you deal with probably had to be a people pleaser growing up, and that's where we learn to excel. We learn to apply everything we have and put it out there for whatever it is that we're doing. People growing up in toxic environments can oftentimes usually blame other people. They have no accountability. So my brother, the brother that told the person to go do that something, now they did it. Come back to the brother and say, look, it didn't work. And the brother says, yeah, I don't know why you did it. Well, you told me to. No, I didn't. You and I were talking in your garage. You told me to do it. Well, I don't know why you would have done it. They take no accountability. They take no responsibility. They blame everyone and everything else but them. I actually talked to one of my soulmates. This is kind of funny. I talked to one of my soulmates a bit ago, about, I don't know, a couple years ago. And this person said they took a job because they were forced to take the job. And it's like, yeah, no, you don't have the mob around you. You don't have a gun next to your head. Are you sure you were forced? You see, he blamed it on someone, other people, but did not take accountability. And the truth is that person made the ultimate final decision. Whether they listen to other people, that's up to them if they chose to take that path. But we don't blame that person because we made the final decision. But when we grow up in a toxic environment, we don't get that. Because in our home, it's not abnormal to have that scenario that I just explained to you. Or when we're talking, and some of you you're talking in a room, a family, and all of a sudden they start talking over you, okay? And when you go, hey, they act like, what? And they ignore you, making us believe we are invisible. We're not valuable. We aren't validated. Nobody can see us, and what I have to say is not important. So a lot of you do go out in that way. And I will tell you from personal experience, having the type A personality helps to balance that part of us out in a very dysfunctional way, absolutely. But it makes us feel like if we throw everything into our work and we are doing a good job, now we get that validation, right? If it isn't from work, we can justify it in our heads. It's kind of weird the way we learn to justify. Oh, well, mom did that because she has a headache. No, mom did that because she's abusive, right? It's like, no, dad didn't hurt you because of that. Dad hurt you because he hurt you. We make up excuses for the people we love. We have this feeling of love-hate, okay? And that's intense. I love you and I hate you. I love you and I hate you. I love you because you're my mom, you're my dad, you're my grandparent, you're my brother, my sister, whatever. I love you, but I hate that you do this to me. I hate this. We can walk into another person's home And when we walk in, we see the people, the parents talk very nicely to each other. The entire family talks nice. They all sit down at the table and they have dinner together. Some of you did not do that. Or even when you did sit down at the table as a family, it was either dead silent because children were not to speak unless they were spoken to, right? A lot of you know what I'm talking about. Or it was the dysfunctional type conversation where one person, who we could call the black sheep, regardless of whatever the toxicity is eliminated because there's the other ones that are all fighting for the validation from the parents. Let's say you have 4 children. All 4 of these kids are looking for that validation. They're looking for whatever it is, the emotional nurturing, whatever. And that's when you can have one sibling that does all those naughty things and they get in trouble. And each and every one of us has met one of those kind of children. And 99.9, not all of them, % of them come from some form of toxicity. They can even have a mental challenge of some kind, a physical challenge, and they are overreacting based on whatever their challenge is. Okay, physical, emotional challenge that they're going to the doctor, it's been diagnosed, all of it. Still, it comes through that way. A lot of self-image issues. We have a lack of love for ourselves. We do not see ourselves as beautiful, okay? We may not see ourselves as intelligent. There's something else. Some of you can justify your soulmate, and you may not have ever written anything on the comments, but your soulmate have picked another person, and you may have justified that by, oh, well, they're better looking than I am. They make more money than I do. Oh, well, there's some reason why. But the truth is, there's that underlying feeling in you, I wasn't good enough. They picked, yeah, I'm beautiful, or yeah, I'm intelligent, but I'm not enough. I'm just not enough. That's why they don't pick me. Sometimes we can be very, very shy because when we grow up in a toxic environment, we withdraw. They're fighting whatever the issue is, we withdraw. As a child, we recognize this doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel right, so I'm gonna hide. And we learn to become shy because of that. Not everybody, but I'm talking about people who grow up in toxic families. The shyness is something that you have to be very much aware of because a true narcissist, not narcissistic society, a true narcissist uses, a covert narcissist will use the shyness as a way to gain your trust. You see, when we grow up in that environment, we keep drawing in toxic people throughout our life on every level. So it's really important to understand what kind of a family life you grew up in. What were you taught as a child that's stuck in your subconscious mind? I know you know, Cecilia. I know you know. Yeah, it's true. A lot of self-harm. These are the people who can say, I want to kill myself. I don't want to be here. If you're a true empath, you don't want to be here anyway. And then having the toxic family on top of it, why am I here? You're here because you have a purpose here. There's a reason you're here. So if you've tried it and it didn't work, that's because you are not meant to go, right? And I would not advise it for anyone. There are places to go, people that can help you. Those of you who have a friend, some of you know somebody who is being abused. I don't have pain. I don't have pain. Gigi, or whoever, I don't. Oh, are you talking to another person? I'm sorry, I thought that was to me. If you know of a friend, a family member, or yourself where there is abuse, I'm going to post this number on the bottom, but I want to say it right now. Grab a pen, grab a paper. This is a national domestic violence hotline. I'm sorry I don't have international, but you guys do have it. So find a way to get that number. National Domestic Violence Hotline number is 800-799-7233. 7233. 800-799-7233, and I will be posting that in the box underneath this as soon as I'm done. I have to wait until I'm done recording the show. If you know of somebody who is being abused, help them. When we go through abuse, there are periods of time, and some of you understand this, where we really don't understand we're abused. We think they're mean, we think it doesn't feel right, we try to separate ourselves from the family, but always get dragged back in. But it affects us in our work environment, it affects us in our friendships, in our other relationships with our own children. If you recognize somebody's being abused, help them, believe in them. Oftentimes, people who are being abused feel no one is there for them, and that is not true. It does feel that way because the people we think we can count on, the family, they're not there. They're the ones doing it. So we have nobody, but that's not true. Each and every one of us knows somebody who has been through this, is going through it, or it's coming. You're going to meet them. So please keep that number and help those people. It's amazing what one person can do to change the lives of many. Because you're not just changing the life of that one person, you're changing their children, grandchildren. You're breaking a cycle. Family members can get angry easy. It doesn't even have to be mom and dad. It can be the siblings that do it. It can be grandma and grandpa that always come around. They're really mad at you. Don't touch me. Go away. I don't have time for you. You guys who have been through this, you know what I'm talking about. This anger, it makes us want to get away from them. We want to withdraw, or we want to please them. Can I get you this? Do you need something? What is wrong with you? What can I do to help you? We oftentimes take other people's burdens and take it as our own. And people who take advantage of other people love us. They love anybody who's been used, abused. If you're an empath, it doesn't matter because you will do everything for them. They have to do absolutely nothing. We literally say, oh, let me help you. Oh, I can do that. I have people that say, hey, can you do me a favor? When I was younger, I would say, sure. Well, that's not always appropriate. So I say, if I can, I will. There's a difference between the two. I am saying yes, if it's possible. This way, I'm saying absolutely. I will stop my life. Yeah, what do you need? I'm right here for you. Not taking care of your own stuff, gonna take care of theirs and then go home and take care of yours. So it's really important to understand why you're taking on other people's work, assignments at work. Why you're the one that is sitting there Thanksgiving Eve or Christmas Eve when everybody's gone, but you're the one still working because you agreed to complete something by a specific date. A lot of addictions, okay, especially if it's in the family, it can continue. That repetitive cycle can continue. But oftentimes we turn to drugs and alcohol. Smoking is a big one as well. Drugs and alcohol to ease the pain, to make us go into this place of feeling numb, of not feeling the pain. It doesn't matter at that point in time. It's a way to hide it, but not heal it. But that's what we're taught to do. And when we come from that kind of environment, we can have a lot of mental disabilities. So maybe your parent came from that kind of environment and didn't really want to hurt you, but they didn't know any better because they actually have some type of bordering personality disorder. And again, it's not as much about the title of what the toxicity is, it's recognizing this isn't right. That's where we're going today. This isn't right. But I couldn't begin to tell you how many people that I work with, anxiety is unbelievable. We are in gear to make sure things get done on time. We throw ourselves, we take on other people's, but all of this creates anxiety. Everything that we say, we're people pleaser, right? Well, I'm not, but we are until we're healed. So I'm doing this for you so that you guys can look at your life and see, is there a parallelism? Is there something there? Depression is a big, big part of it. Huge part of it. Where we can even be a functioning person suffering from massive depression. We don't recognize it because as we grow up in this kind of environment, we do separate, right? We have two different minds. So we feel it, we feel pain, we feel the suffering, but we're told this is normal by our family. There's nothing wrong with you. It's not valid. There are other people that need so much more than you do. All of these things to justify that pain that you're suffering from. A lot of times the toxic people can have they can act like children. They can throw temper tantrums. The parents, the person who is hurting us, they can throw temper tantrums. They can talk like a baby. And I mean real baby talk. I don't mean like, you meet somebody and you like them and like, oh, I like you. I don't mean that. I'm talking about really talking. My mom used to do that a lot. Oh, sure, and she talk like a baby. And no, we don't need to do that, right? But they do oftentimes act very childlike. And I have found through my education that this is something that they do as a way to get what they want, acting like a child. It gets them what they want. So they continue to do it. There are so many of us in this world that have endured abuse, but we don't recognize it. And I really would like for each and every one of you to help yourself and others. A lot of emotional difficulties come through this. And behavioral problems. Remember when I was talking about the one sibling that got in trouble, they did the naughty things, so the attention is on them. We start acting out, we start being rebellious as a child, and if it is not addressed, if it isn't healed and fixed, if they do not get whatever it is that they're lacking, they can continue to go forward. And at the age of 13, do something really bad, and at the age of 16, 17, do something so severely bad that they're in prison the rest of their life. We become rebels, right? I don't mean a free spirit, I mean a rebel. And there's a difference between the two. I've always been a free spirit, but not a rebel. There are so many signs of toxic, abusive situations, and each and every one of us know it. So, how do we become empowered? How do we fix this? How, now that we see, okay, here's some of the signs, there's a multitude of them. Some of these signs that tell you about this, how do we fix this? You have been programmed, it's been stuck and shoved into your subconscious mind over and over your entire life, 18 years, 16 years, 27 years. Some of you are 50 and you're still dealing with this from your parents. Over and over again. You have to unprogram your subconscious mind and reprogram it the way that's appropriate for you. Meaning, I don't like alcohol, it makes me sick. So that's on there, we do not drink anymore, okay? I don't like cigarette smoking because I can't breathe. We write that into our own life. So as our parents taught us to drink and smoke, and that's in our world, we're unraveling and recognizing what we like, what we don't like. That's empowerment. Knowledge is power. You guys, really, if any of this matches you, if you know somebody that isn't you, research it. Knowledge is power. Power is what empowers us. That's what gives us the personal power back. That's through the knowledge. That's through understanding who we are. Why is it that everybody I meet, they leave me, right? That's a form of abandonment issues. Or we're looking at I have notes everywhere. I have notes like all over the place. I'm like, whoa, I was really busy. But I really wanted to talk about this with you guys because I've had a number of clients over the last year where they don't even recognize. And when we talk and they hear things like this, well, I'm sorry, I have top graded volume. I don't know why you can't hear me. And you're the only one who said it. Maybe you could try turning your volume up because mine's on max. And it is very, I've got $5,000 worth of equipment here, so I know it works. And I listen to almost every one of my videos. Yeah, thank you so much, Debbie. I really want you guys to work on understanding toxic environments. So when you see a child that is walking somewhere and you see the look, if you've been abused, you know the look. We know the look, right? Just like we know the narcissist the smirk, you know what I'm talking about. They can't go forward without help and they're a child, help them. When we understand what's going on in the world, what has been handed down generation to generation, and a lot of it is narcissistic abuse, emotional abuse, the bordering personality disorder that creates the monster that inflicts this abuse. Doesn't matter what they have. People with bipolar, which I work with people with bipolar, not multiple personalities, not a psychopath or a narcissist. I will work with bipolar. But you have to understand they do go back and forth, but there's a difference. There is a difference, all right? Does it leave you making your own dinner at the age of 5, being raised by a bipolar parent? Absolutely it can. Can it leave you getting yourself ready for school at 6 years old? Yes, it can, because they are suffering from a mental disability. So it's important to understand we have empathy because they're ill, we get that, but we also have to recognize how it affects us, how it affects the little neighbor boy across the street that you're watching growing up that way and not doing anything about. The little girl that you see absolutely terrified as her dad is saying, come here, and she's like, no, Daddy, no. Pay attention to these things. Pay attention to these things because they're very important in the world. This is the age of Aquarius. This is where we stand up. We become empowered to help others get their personal power back. And that's what I'm talking about. Be around people who are on a higher vibration. Even if you've come from this, look for people if you can. Work on you. Heal this. And that's what's going to heal the world. One person at a time, one step at a time. When that person's done, they help this one. Now we got 2. Now we got 4. Now we got 6. It's expansion, okay? So I will take some of your questions. Oh, you guys, also the empowerment retreat. That's really what that's about. That's empowerment retreat. We are going to look at your blockages. We're going to talk about this. We're going to look at self-awareness, self-love. We're going to look at what you need to do to pull your personal power back into play so you recognize these people way before they hurt you. We're taught to allow these people to hurt us. I don't mean just your family. I'm talking about low vibrational toxic people. So the link for that is below as well, and there's only a few days left because that event is next week. I have a few tickets left, you guys. I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing. It is absolutely amazing. So I did not see that last question. I saw it, but I didn't see it. I saw it, but I couldn't read it. There we go. So you guys, it's a huge epidemic. I see people every single day, not even from my work, out and about. I see people every day that are being abused, that are filled with anxiety, that are filled with an absorbent amount of pressure because they're doing everything for everyone else. It's time to take action. Hi, Stella. It's time to take action, you guys. Yep. So if you have a question, you can throw it up there for me, and I'd be happy to answer it. How do I stop feeling like I'm the problem? Well, you see, that's part of that invisible karmic cloak. And young Navy, that's part of that invisible karmic cloak. Now, what I'm talking about is, did you come from a toxic family? If you did, they created the cloak where you can see the outline but not the details. So you were taught to do exactly that. So how do you overcome it? You recognize what you came from and you fix it. You go to a psychiatrist, you go to a counselor, you do self-counseling, work with me. We get right down to the, I get right down to the root. I don't go through this 10-year shit. I want you in and out. That's like the way I do it, right? I do. I go deep into my childhood, into your childhood. I go deep into the roots because I can see where it is on your chart. It'll hurt, but it's worth it. You got to feel it to heal it. You got to feel it to heal it. My family now hate me because I'm finally, But, and I didn't see your name, they said their family hates them because they finally stood up to their family. This is what I say to you. Bravo. Now really look at your family. Do they support you? Are they emotionally nurturing? Are they there for you? Do they help you when you need it? And I don't mean, oh, here, you need money again? No. Do they literally help you when you need it? Okay? Oftentimes because we pick that family for other stuff, for lessons, for etc. But that doesn't mean we have to be friends with them. Create the life you want. Empower you. Empower yourself. Build what makes you happy. Okay, Pauline. Yeah. Yep. Okay, I didn't catch it all, but Ms., you were asking how can you become a better mother? The best way to become the best mother that you can is to understand who you are. Understand what you came from and what you brought into adulthood, right? Now, that's called self-awareness, and that's what this retreat is about. Self-awareness. It's about personal power. It's about why am I having difficulty with my family, right? This is you really analyzing you, Missy, and looking at your attributes. Positive, negative, it doesn't matter. You want to learn to be mentally strong. How do you do that? Exactly what I said. You guys, it really, because of the toxic environment that we grew up in, is really easy to think that, oh my God, this is so hard, it's so huge, I can't see it, I can't feel it, it doesn't exist. It does exist, it does. Knowledge. Each of you that just asked those questions, how do I be a better mother? How do I? Knowledge is power. What you do is you look, are you coming from a toxic background, number one, and then two, you looking at you. You are so welcome, Josephine. I am very happy to do this for you. Okay, excuses, I have no idea. That sounds very negative toward me. I don't know what you meant. I love you, Frank. Okay, Frank, she loves you. And we do love our soulmates. We are truly connected. Mitzi, I didn't see your question because if it goes too fast, I don't get to see it. You know, I would be happy to do like maybe a little parenting segment, maybe do a little parenting class on Zoom where you guys can actually talk to me. I had 4 people ask me about parenting. Be happy to. If you would like me to put together a parenting class where you can ask your questions, we can see and speak to each other, okay? I would be happy to do that on Zoom. And that could be really good, where we do it a few segments, etc., whatever it is, based on what I receive from you. I would be happy to do that. Parenting, Bonnie, parenting is a big issue for a lot of people. Now, when we're looking at people who are in the age frame of 60, 50, and 40, whatever we were taught, we taught our children. Most of us came from a form of poverty because it was almost like, and you guys are going to understand this, right? I'm 56, by the way. I'm 56 years young. So we came from an environment where there were not tons, we didn't see them, we know they exist, of wealthy people. Most of us had very little money growing up, especially 50, 60, right? Especially 50, 60 and older. This is what we taught our children. So I didn't do that, though. When my children were hungry, I let them eat every 2 to 3 hours. It's okay to have a snack every 2 to 3 hours because I understand health. I'm a nutrition, healthy fanatic. Every 2 to 3 hours, I would watch my children eat a meal and they go up, 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 crash. Every 2 to 3 hours, it doesn't do that. It goes like this. We don't lose the energy. We don't get the hyper moments of, well, I do. I just like hyper. But we don't get that hyper. So it's good to keep the metabolism on a regular basis, right? Very, very important. It's important to look at the diet. One of the first things you want to look at as a parent, how are you creating a regime for your children? Do you have a bedtime? Are you creating discipline? Discipline is love. It's teaching with love, but it's teaching things in compliance, like, the law. You don't steal. That is a form of teaching. And if your children steal, you're gonna, well, I took one of mine back into the store. I was like, tell them you stole this. I was, no, Mommy, no. But they never did it again. Ever did it again. I never had to worry about it. I loved them when we were done. I told them I was proud of them for walking in there. Didn't like what they did, but I knew they wouldn't do it again, and they did not. They did not. Young Navy, any of you, if you ever see these people, I have about 17, 20 people that they're 2 seconds. I've seen it. I have literally seen it where I've turned on the live show, not one person is viewing it, and I get a thumbs down. I haven't even started talking. I have people who, this could be people I don't work with them anymore. I release them from my guidance, whatever, I don't know. Or competitor, the ones who steal my work. That's why I don't post what I'm going to talk about until that day. It's just, yeah, I don't want to play with that. I don't play well like that. I don't believe in stealing other people's work. If you see somebody, you guys are on my live show, which I am going to be doing a couple other live tarot readings, not today. I'm going to do a couple tarot readings probably over the weekend. If you see them, just click them off, get them gone, boom, done. Okay, my guys, I am so happy you are here. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you know somebody, please reach out, do something, call the hotline, 1-800-799-7233. If somebody has it in other countries, I can try to put it on this particular page. I don't know that it'll fit, it'd be super long, but you do, look up the number, keep it in your phone, put it right in your phone. Everybody has a cell phone nowadays, so there's no reason not to. Put it right in there. I hope to see you guys, the empowerment retreat. Really good deal, and this is the end. This is it. This is the last week for the sale. It is next week, and I can't wait to meet those of you who are coming. PayPal has a payment program, no interest, all of this. My clients loved it. I've had many use it. That's your way to make this payment for some of you. Regardless, I love each and every one of you. Have an absolutely wonderful day.